Alright, so in the last video we were getting there, but we had some funky stuff going on. It seems like sometimes when if we touch these guys the wrong way, we can kind of kill them like that. So I think what I want to do here is think about this on-touching stuff and how on-touching should be handled a little bit better. I think I could be a little bit smarter with the on-touching if I let's see, I'm just going to do a search here on touching. Okay, that's where it's defined. Yeah, in here, I think what I want to do is actually, for the on-touching, I want to pass it the list of who's touched, who it's touched. So if I say touched sprites equals, because then I can be a little bit smarter about what I want to do with those. So I'm going to cut and paste, and I'm going to say I'm going to copy this to here, and I'm going to pass that to my on-touching. Because even in micro worlds, there's this reporter called touched turtle, so you can tell who you touched. So this will give my on-touching a list of all the guys that have been touched. I think that makes more sense. Because now I can say, if the hunter is one of those guys that got touched, then I don't know, maybe I should just disappear or something like that. So maybe, let's see. So who should be responsible for knocking out the sprite? Should the sprite kill itself when it gets hit by a hunter, or should the hunter kill whatever sprite it touches? I think what I could do is say, I think I like the idea of having the hunter be responsible for killing other things, because then, right, like here, I can say, if I want to say something like, if all the touched sprites are targets, then I'm going to bounce off of them. Otherwise, I'll let whoever touched me figure out what's supposed to happen. Okay, so I need to go through the list of all the touched sprites and see if they're all targets. So actually, I think I'll write it probably makes sense to write a method for that. So I'll say I'll define a function, all targets sprites. So I got a list of sprites, and I'm going to see if that list is if those are all targets. So now I'll just put pass for now, but if I copy this, now I can say if paste this, copy. So if all the targets are, if all the touch sprites are targets, then I'll do this. Otherwise, I'm not going to do anything. So, so that way they'll ignore. For now, they're going to basically ignore the hunter sprite. So let's see. So I'm going to say for. Oh, this should be sprites. For sprite in sprites, if not, let's see, how do you tell if a sprite belongs to a class? Is there documentation on that in here? Python, programming constructs, types. Is there anything about classes? You can get a value's type. Is that the same as getting its class? Let's see. Let's experiment. If I say class dummy pass, and I just say duh equals dummy, and print type duh. What's this say? It says it's a class main dummy. So what if I say if duh is if let me see, maybe I can Google it. Python class, sometimes they call it an is-a relation, or instance. I think it's instance. Find is-a, maybe, yeah. Now how about instance? For instance, instance of instance objects. So an instance, basically, the idea of an instance is objects are instances of classes. So sometimes you'll see the terminology instance of. Let me see, Python. Pretty sure it's instance of. Instance of, maybe. Is an instance of. No. Is an instance of. Oh, is instance. How to check if an object is an instance of a given class. If is instance says use the built-in function is instance. Okay, so let's try that one out. So if is instance duh dummy print duh is an instance of dummy. Yay! Okay, so this is how we write it. If is instance, I'm just going to copy this. Copy. So if we want to say if it's not an instance, right? If not, because if we find one that's not an instance, if not is instance sprite target. So if this sprite is not a target, then we're going to return false, capital F, false, right? Otherwise, if we've gone through all the sprites in the list and we haven't found any that that aren't targets, then we want to return true. Okay. So there we go. So now we're only doing something if we're only responding to other targets, not to the hunter guy. And then later on, we'll let the hunter do something to the wherever it finds. So let's see. Go. Oops. All targets. Oh. It's all targets is a method, right? It's not a function. So since it's a method, we have to use the self dot. Okay, so let's try that again. All targets takes exactly one argument and 2 are given. Since it's a method, I have to say self comma. Try again. There we go. So they're ignoring this guy now. Oh! Still had a problem. Oh, there they go again. What happened? So what I want to happen is that they don't care what this guy's doing, that they're just going to go on and mind their own business. But it seems like there's still something going on here. So I think what I'll do is leave off at this point and do a little more debugging, and then we'll come back in the next video and I will explain how I got it all cleared up.